Good morning or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. My name is Chris Short. I'm the head boys basketball coach here at Chattahoochee High School. Wanted to take a moment to kind of go over a couple of important things for this upcoming 2020-2021 season that is about 2 weeks away. We are producing this video to kind of give everybody a little bit of a jump start to the fundraising efforts and just some general information regarding how our season's going to look and things of that nature. We'll obviously get way more into detail once teams are selected and we have our parent meetings. Those will be at least one parent mandatory to come to so we can get some information to you, get you signed up in all our various email notifications and things of that nature. So today, the main purpose is to kind of talk through a couple things about our season and talk about fundraising. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you here with a PowerPoint that we've created. And what you see here is the first slide, just kind of an introduction. But I want to go down here to slide number 3 and what our season is going to look like. This number actually, as of yesterday, just changed for varsity boys basketball. We are allowed 25 every year, but this year the GHSA changed the start date for us to start November 20th. So we lost 3 games right there, and now we got one back, but then we lost another one. So we are down to 21 games at the moment. I have a 22nd game on the horizon, waiting on some final details from a varsity standpoint, but we're not the only team. The more coaches I talk to, the average is 2 to 3 games missing, and that's kind of where we're at. We had 25, and then we were down to 24. We had a trip out of state that was just canceled yesterday, so we have had some issues. All of it is due to COVID. None of it is Chattahoochee boys basketball related, Fulton County schools related. It is all just COVID related. Tournaments, showcase games, things of that nature just being canceled and or moved to dates that we're not able to participate because we have a region game, for example. So region games always take precedent when it comes to those kinds of things. We're not allowed to change those things, and so especially in a COVID situation where everybody's kind of anticipating us having some shutdowns or closures at some point. That's just what expectations are. Kind of going into this, prepare for the worst, if you will. And so region games are at a premium, and that's what we're directed to focus on. So we have 21. I'm working my hardest right now, contacting everybody I can to see if we can get up to at least 23, 24, and if not 25 games, but some of it's out of my control. So just so you all are aware, we're doing the best we can. Lower level games is 18. We're currently 18 for JV and 17 for 9th grade. That's assuming they do well in the tournament at the end of the season. If they don't, they would lose a game at the end. But we'll assume that they're going to do well. Okay. The next bullet there, number 2, is our current capacity is set at 25%. These numbers are a little inflated. 630 spectators, 157 allotted to the away team. However, the GHSA and NFHS, the National Federation of High School Sports, have come out with their guidelines, and there is going to be some setup changes to what a game day looks like as far as fan seating and things like that. So I do anticipate that number being lowered a little bit, not drastically. We're not talking about having 100 fans. I mean, I think we'll be in the 450 to 500 range, depending on the setup that's decided. I know Fulton County Athletics is trying to get all the similar floor plans to set their gyms up exactly the same. That way there's consistency among the county. And so we should be getting that information soon, and that's what's going to dictate where we're at from a capacity standpoint. Be sold online. on GoFan, which is very similar to what football has been using over the years, but that is now going to apply to all games for every high school sporting event, at least for this year, if not permanent. Masks will be required for any spectators that come into the room in the gym, especially because we're an indoor sport. They are really going to be mandating that. Also, social distancing by family. So obviously those that you live with would be okay to sit together, and then you would have social distance between the family next to you or behind you or in front of you. And so that will be mandated and expected by Fulton County Athletics and Chattahoochee High School sports and athletics teams here will all have to follow the same rules. And specifically because we're an indoor sport, there's going to be a little bit more of an enhanced, control on that or security on that. Concession stands will be open, but very limited. We cannot have pizza slices, hot dogs, things like that we have to package ourselves. Everything has to be pre-packaged and prepared ahead of time, and whatever, like say, for example, Chick-fil-A, prepared, packaged at their facility, CDC guidelines, etc. Then we would be able to bring that product in. Fans and parents will not be allowed on the playing surface at all. They are very adamant about that. No one after the game should be down on the floor in an effort to keep some separation from officials and the players. And I will tell you that with the players, what concerns me the most is any contact they come in with. There's a 14-day quarantine with that. So even if they're not positive, they could miss games just by the contact tracing that's going to take place. So all our student athletes check in on a daily basis right now. They have a little Google form that they fill out that answers all the typical questions. That screening will also be in place for any spectators that come into the building. So that would also include temp checks as well. I'm going to skip down here to the next one. I talked earlier about the NFHS and the GHSA. So basically, we're going to see a setup where not all four sides of the gym are open. There's a couple of configurations being talked about and debated over right now within Fulton County schools and their athletic departments, of how those floor plans are going to be consistent. I don't have that information yet. I hope to here in the next week to 10 days, and it will dictate that. But we will have, for example, no fans behind the benches. We won't have a single row bench. It will be much like what you saw with the NBA, where there's kind of a staggered row. Athletes will be required to wear masks when they're not in the game on the bench. And so we're going to have to follow that. There is no jump ball to start the game. Visiting team starts with possession on a typical throw-in like you would see after an out-of-bounds play. So we're going to be in some situations like that where there's some rules changes and some configuration changes when it comes to fans and how the gym is set up. Either way, we're going to do the gym setup the best that gives us the most fans and the best environment we can, considering the situation, and we'll just deal with it. And so pre and post game ceremonies will look much different. There's no handshakes with officials pregame, and then certainly post game would be no handshakes with the opposing team. We would have to line up at the free throw line extended and kind of nod and make acknowledgement to the opponent in a good sportsmanship style to kind of end the game and walk off the floor. So you can read some other modifications there that I have. No jump ball is probably the biggest one that you'll see. But I already talked about that. Just want to make sure that we're good with all that. Last thing I want to cover is some important dates. So October 26 and 27 are our tryouts. Times a construction update with where we're at here on campus to what all the teams we need to accommodate for. That's going to adjust practice times here and there. The 28th will be first practice for all teams. And we'll have a parent meeting, a week or 10 days after that, once we get settled and everything's done. November 9th, we'll start a email fundraiser. We really need everybody's all hands on deck with this, everybody's participation. Obviously, last spring, we lost all of our events. That usually brings in about $8,000. And then we also lost all of our summer camps, which is also a very significant fundraiser for our program. So we're missing significant money from our budget due to this COVID situation. Any help any of you can be regarding team sponsorships, player sponsorships, all that money is credited to your student's account, if you will. And it comes to helping us, continue to improve our facilities and continue to offer nice things for our kids, which is one of my priorities. We've got a whole brand new, almost aux gym. We got new bleachers. The rock wall is out. Some new paint in there. Next summer, we're getting a whole new renovation in our main gym. So we've had quite a few changes and some on the way, and we're working hard to get that done for our student athletes. And then so a lot of it is fundraising, and we need your help. We want to be able to provide the best experience for our kids while they're here. And then the more fundraising we do as a collective group, then we don't have to ask for money for away game meals and t-shirt money or anything of that nature. We can pay for those things for your kids because you've already done the legwork on the front end to help us. Our Booster Club president, Rob Tackett, will go over that more. But I'm begging you as your head coach on the boys side to just all hands on deck and really help us, support us with this fundraising efforts that we're going to try to get going and see what we can do. Information I'm getting from Fall Sports is that it's hard. So any help we can get from everyone will only help. November 20th is the first play date. And we had some issues with Parkview. That was one of the games that was going to change. But we got special permission from GHSA to move that game to November 19th. And so that game will be now played November 19th with special permission from the GHSA to play it a day early. So we didn't end up losing another game. And so that will be our first game for varsity boys and varsity girls, November 19th, Thursday night. Game times are 5 and 6:30 that particular night. So we'll release the schedules here shortly, waiting on some confirmation and filling in the gaps. And then we'll be able to release all our practice schedules, game schedules, everything. So if you guys have any questions, please email me. My email is shortc@fultonschools.org. Again, that's shortc@fultonschools.org. And I'll do my best to answer your questions, get you information as quickly as possible. Thanks for your time. Thanks for attending these virtual meetings. And we look forward to seeing you soon in the stands. Have a good night.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heather Mikulajak. I'm the Booster Club Secretary, which means that I focus my time on communication. And so there's 3 different areas that I really work on. The first is the website. Second are the email messages that you'll receive from Hooch Basketball. And then third are our social media accounts. So I'll give you just a quick overview of those. I'll be sure to put some buttons into this presentation as well to give you easy access to follow us on social media as well as sign up for the email list. So this is one of our websites. This is the boys' website. It is available at hoochathletics.com, as is the girls' site. You can also find them by just typing in hoochhoops.com or hoochgirlshoops.com. And this information is going to be changing over the course of the season, but just to give you a couple of highlights right now, we're going to be talking a lot about sponsorships in this meeting, and it's important to note that we do have sponsorship information on both of the websites. So you can find that information, you can download the form, which is helpful to have that as you're going out and working on getting sponsorships. We also have some information about different fundraisers that you can participate in to help support the program. We have contact information for the tip-off club, so you can see how to contact all of the members on the board, as well as our current sponsors. All the sponsors that are at this particular level are listed on the website. And then finally, we do have the calendar. So as the game schedule is finalized, this will be updated and you will see the varsity boys and girls schedules that come into this. And then I always put links as well to freshman and JV schedules in addition. So that's a little information about the websites. Next, we'll talk about email. We do have an email system that we use that allows us to send out messages to our families. So it's really important that you are signed up for that list, on that list, so you can get those emails. So I created a quick and easy form for people to go ahead and fill out to make sure that we have your information. Now, you can fill out this form multiple times. So if you have two parents that want to both get the information, that is absolutely great. So you can fill it out. We do ask for your email address, the parent name, and then also the player name. Sometimes it's a little confusing on the back end if players and parents have different last names. So that's why we ask for both, just to make sure that we're able to pull everything together and have the most accurate lists as possible. So we would like for people to fill this out to make sure that you're going to be on our email list for this year. Again, I will put a link so you can easily get to this. It's a web-based form, fill it out, and then you'll automatically be added to our list. And then finally, we are on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So I will put a link, a quick and easy link over to those so you can go ahead and follow us there. One thing that I will ask as we do finalize teams, I would love to find a parent from each of the teams to help with taking pictures and videos and providing them to us. So because I can't attend every game, I need to ask that there's someone on the team that can help kind of gather that information, and then that way we can be sure that we balance the posts that are out there, so we have a nice mix of all the players in our Hooch basketball program. So I think that's it for now. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Rob Takis. I am the president of the Tip-Off Chattahoochee High School Tip-Off Club, which is the basketball booster club. The role of the booster club, for those who are new and even those who were here last year, is to provide the administrative and logistic support to the basketball program that that the county or the school doesn't provide, as well as serve as liaison between the coach and the school and the parents. Um, Let me just start off by saying, we've all, the last 8 months have certainly been a trying time for all of us, and we're all ready to get back to some sort of normalcy, and hopefully, successful start to the basketball program will help us as parents, but more importantly, the kids, get back into a schedule, um, and bring a little bit more structure to their lives that have been a little bit uncertain here over the last 8 months. Um, Even before what's happened with COVID and the fact that we couldn't really do any fundraising this past spring or summer, which we typically do between AAU camps as well as our camp for the younger kids in the Johns Creek, Alpharetta area. Um, we were already at a disadvantage. We're an older school. Every school around us has newer facilities, nicer gyms, nicer gear, everything that you could think of. But the one thing that they don't have is the winning tradition that we have established. And, our from our perspective as the Booster Club, we want to make sure that, from a financial perspective, there's no impediments to our continued success from that um, uh, from that area. Um, So, with that said, I wanted to talk a little bit about the financial obligation we expect um, uh, the parents to be a part of as we head into this year. There is a $250 Fulton County administrative fee, which is basically paid anybody who participates in a Fulton County school athletic program has to pay this. And then we have a participation fee for the program, which is $475, and that money goes directly to the program to support gear, equipment, the gym, clothing, what concessions, whatever it is that the school doesn't cover, which is a lot, has to come from the basketball budget only. So we understand that this is a lot of money. We're all parents on the Booster Club on the board, and we looked at we all constantly looking at ways that we can continue to support the program, but also alleviate the financial burden that unfortunately we have to put up with to have our kids play. And there's two ways primarily. The first way is one I'm not going to focus too much on because this year it's not as a relevant um, way to save, a cost-effective way to help you out as it relates to participation fee, and that is a Booster Club membership. Typically, with a Booster Club membership, a portion of that membership would go to your participation fee, and in addition, you would get free entry, depending on what membership you bought, anything from, all the sports and parking and all that stuff to, if it was just winter sports, just free entry to basketball games. But, if you go all the home games, and you got 3 or 4 people in your family, that can be a significant amount of money that you save. But because of the capacity restrictions, this year, those memberships are not offering that free entry to games, so you kind of lose that incentive. So what we're really focusing on this year is the sponsorships, corporate sponsorships. We we provide. There's some documentation on our website that, and as well as in the presentation, that talks about the sponsorship levels that corporations can participate in and what they get for that amount of money. Now, what you get, and hopefully is clearly explained, is sort of a rule of thumb is that if it's whatever the sponsorship is, roughly half of that goes to pay your participation fees. So, for example, if you closed $1,000 sponsorship, half of that, roughly $500, would go to your participation fee. So you could see that would absolutely be covered. So um, that's the best way we see of both tying the community and the program together with the parents and the team. Where everybody's supporting the program with the same goal, and our sponsors are getting the benefit of eyes on their products or services, whether it's banner in the gym or a specific night that we allow them to come and set up a booth or a table and hand out flyers about their company, or maybe it's advertised on our shooting shirts, or plaques. There's some way that they get to participate as a sponsor of a winning program, and at the same time, obviously help us with our financial needs. Now, Chris Adetuoye is the sponsorship coordinator, so I would recommend um, that you reach out to her, because she knows who we're already sponsors with, there might be some opportunities because senior parents left, and also give you some good ideas about how to leverage um, the program success to additional sponsorship dollars, and sales tactics and that sort of things. And I'm willing to help out at that in that as well. But Chris is the expert, and she spent the last couple years pretty much beating the pavement uh, through Johns Creek and Alpharetta. So if you've got some ideas about sponsorships, run it past her, or just let her know, and I think that we'll continue to see success. I'll leave you with this: is that again, we had a great year last year, and obviously the boys won the state championship, but the girls as well exceeded expectations, and that type of, again, that type of um, success, people want to be a part of. And so I think that again, we can have some success on the corporate side with the sponsorships, and we really need, as much effort as you all can put into it, both, for your own personal financial benefit as well as, to help the program. And I will leave you with this is that, um, if you do want to, if there are some issues on the payment side and you want to talk to us about, a payment plan or how flexible we can be in terms of payment, we are absolutely flexible. So we recognize that, everyone's got a different situation, and certainly over the last 8 months, a lot of things that can happen that, from a family perspective has made it tougher to support some of these funding needs for, just to have your child play a sport. So we're willing to work with anyone and everyone on how we can support the program, but at the same time, give you some flexibility in terms of how you can support the program, especially as it relates to writing a check. And again, we will have more details once the teams are made out on those types of things, on the payments, where they need to go. And sponsorships and those types of things. But we just wanted to give a general introduction today on some of the things that you can expect as we head into this next season. Thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And again, if there are any questions, please refer them to me or anyone else on the board, and we'll certainly do our best to answer any questions that you have. Thank you for your time.
That's right, and I'm the head girls basketball coach here at the Hooch, and we are really excited about the opportunity to have a new season this year for girls and boys to participate in. Of course, safety is a priority, but we also want to make it an all-around great experience for our student athletes. Despite the unusual start to the school year, there are quite a few exciting things going on here at the Hooch in terms of construction. We've added some new buildings that we can benefit wrestling and cheerleading. Also, our Ox Gym is being updated with new bleachers, and our rock wall is being removed so we can play our lower level games at home. In terms of the season specifics and rule changes, Coach Short will share more details along those lines. But I just wanted to say, we are excited about our girls, some of whom have already been working really hard at conditioning and getting prepared for the season. We have scheduled a 25-game season for the varsity girls and 18 games for our JV. Our scrimmage is going to be on November 10th, and our season opener will be at home on November 19th against Parkview High School. Again, we are really excited about this year and what lies ahead, but we can't successfully accomplish all of this without your support. So we're looking forward for your involvement in whatever you can, and together we can make this a great experience for our student athletes. Thank you, and go Hooch.